Hello, welcome along. We are back in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and today's video is going to be an additional tutorial for my recent quick start guide on the Boeing 787-10, and if you'd like to check that out, I shall pop a link up at the end of the video. So today we're going to be discussing Simbrief and how we set up our operational flight plan and import that data into the CDU inside the aircraft. Now obviously you can do this within the world map in the simulator, but if you're looking for something with a bit more immersion, let's say a process that's more in line with what a real-world pilot will use, and that's what we're going to be discussing today. So firstly, you're going to need a Simbrief account, so head on over to simbrief.com, get yourself signed up. It's all totally free, and it's really an invaluable tool for flight simming, so really recommend you do it, and we're good to go. And once you're logged in, you'll see a screen similar to this, where we can add all the parameters for our flight. So we will begin by adding our flight number. We can just populate this with some random stuff for now, so we'll go Tom 107, and we're currently sitting on stand in Birmingham, so that's EGBB, and we're going to be planning a flight over to Kos in Greece, which is LGKO. And next we're going to be selecting our aircraft, so we just need to scroll down till we find the Boeing 787-10. Where are we? I think it's 787X in Simbrief. There we go. And drop that in, and it'll just take a couple of seconds to load, and then if we look over to the world map on the right hand side there, we can see it's plotted our route across Europe, and you can see it's added all the waypoints for our flight. If I just zoom in a little bit, so there we go, we're going across Luxembourg, Switzerland, Albania, all the way down through the top of Greece, and then there's Athens, which is our alternate route, so it plots that as well, and then into Kos. And if we come over to the left hand side of the screen, it gives us our latest AIRAC cycle that we're going to be using, a few other options we can change. We've got our flight time, departure runway, arrival runway, and all that good stuff. And then also we have the route data. That's all the waypoints we've just gone over on the map. And that's going to be what's entered into the CDU within the aircraft. And that is basically it. Once you're happy with all the information, you can hit the generate flight button, so we'll do that. It'll just take a few seconds to process. And there we go. We have a fully operational flight plan that we can import into the aircraft in the simulator. And we can also view a PDF of what we just created, so this is pretty similar to what a pilot would see on a real world flight. It's got all your fuel, your weights, your route. There's the routing there that we've just gone over, and then we've got your passengers, cargo, payload, and it also gives you all your winds, fuel, outside air temperature for each waypoint along the journey. And that is pretty much it. So how do we get that into the CDU within the aircraft? It's actually pretty straightforward, so let's hop into the flight deck and go over that now. We're going to come down to the CDU, and as you can see we're on the ident page, so we need to hit the index button just there, and then over to settings on the right hand side, and then we need to go to page 2 of settings, and then that takes us to the Simbrief settings, where we can add in our username that we've just set up in Simbrief, which I will pop in now. 7 3 sim. That's my username. Obviously yours will be whatever you chose on sign up, and then we just drop that in on the top right hand side, and it will just verify it, and there we go, it's all activated. So we'll pop back into the index page and hit settings again, and what we're going to do is first of all bring in all our fuel and weights from the flight plan we've created. So hit weight and balance, and then over to the left hand side there's a button that says set from OFP, and we hit that, and that will start loading in all the data from our flight plan. It'll just take a couple of seconds, and there we go, it says completed. So there we go, it's brought in all our weights, passengers, cargo, all that kind of stuff, and we can cross-reference that with our flight plan in Simbrief just to make sure it's all looking correct. So There we've got a block fuel of 21715. And in weights we've got 296 passengers, and if we just pop back to the CDU and double check all those numbers look correct, there we go, 296 passengers, so the right fuel weight, we're all good. Okay, so there's still a few parameters we need to manually input, so if we come back into the init ref page, we're going to add in our zero fuel weight, which we can just click on the button next to zero fuel weight and it'll bring that in from the flight plan. So 166.5, we'll drop that in. And for our reserves, we need to just double check that on the flight plan. So if I head back over to Simbrief, just need to pop that on the screen, here we go. It's up towards the top under planned fuel. There we go, it's the FinRes plus alternate figure that we're looking for, which is 5526. So we'll round that up to 5.6 and drop that in. And also we've got a cost index here as well, we need to add in at the top right there, it's cost index 15. So we'll just add those in now. And there we go. Okay, so obviously the main thing we need to do now is import our route. So hit the route button, and over on the left hand side we have a route request, and we hit the button next to that, and that has sent the request over to Simbrief, and it will give us a little message once it's been imported. Just a couple of seconds. And there we go, we've got the route uplink ready message, so that's all looking good. All I need to do now is load that in. So over here on the left hand side, and then we hit the load button, and as you can see it's brought in our origin airport, Birmingham EGBB, and costs of our destination, and also the flight number we put in. So we hit execute now, and if we come across to the legs button and press that, we can have a look at all the waypoints that we looked at earlier on the map. Just scroll through, there's 6 pages of them, so that looks like it's brought everything in correctly. Just make sure there's not any discontinuities. No, that all looks good, and also we can double check this on the nav display. Just flip that to plan mode. As you can see on the nav display, we can step through each waypoint one by one, just to make sure we're looking like we're heading in the right direction, and everything is as it should be, and that all looks good. And that is pretty much it for importing the flight plan. There are a couple of other settings which I will go through. In the VNav page we have a climb forecast button, so if you press that, followed by the request button, that will import the wind data from the flight plan. If we just wait a couple of seconds, and there we go, wind data uplink ready. So we hit the load button, and there we go, and that has brought in all the altitudes, wind direction and wind speeds for our climb. And it has also done the same for our descent. So if we go into the descent and hit forecast, that will have already been imported. We just need to hit the load button. There we go, and the same again, it's given us all the altitudes, wind speed, wind direction for our descent, and all that extra information just helps the plane calculate our top of climb, top of descent, just a little bit more accurately. Okay, that pretty much concludes today's video on how we import an operational flight plan from Simbrief into the CDU on the Boeing 787-10. I hope you found it useful. If you did, give it a like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks very much for watching. Bye bye.